Hello there, Qckslvrslash, and today we have what is my first game in the Chung. And I can tell you by the end of this game, I was grinning. I really like this ship. It feels like home, and the reason being, well, it's the same ship as that one off on my port beam. It is essentially a Fletcher. For all intents and purposes, they are the same. There are differences, of course, the big one being the torpedoes. These are deep water torpedoes, the Fletchers are normal. But beyond that, I guess the only other major one I would consider is the option to bring radar. Now you can see I'm running smoke. More often than not in this line, I have chosen smoke over radar because I just find smoke more utilitarian. You can help a teammate out by smoking them if they're getting focused down. You can conceal yourself and shoot from it. And with smokes that, once you get all the mods on there, basically have like 10 seconds or less between availability of smoke screens, that in and of itself is a very powerful tool. The radar, well, very useful and would have been useful in this game at one point. It's situational, and it's, to me, very useful in a competitive environment, but in kind of a more battle royale environment like this, not as much. So early on, I sneak up into cap. You can see it's contested, so I decide, you know what, I'm just going to fire torps in this Mogami's direction and get out. And what I'm actually going to do here is just kite around the edge of cap. I've got RPF, so I know vaguely that, you know, their one ship is somewhere right on that northern edge of cap, thereabouts. That's what's closest to me, so I'm going to kite around. My idea being, if I can get beside him, we've got our Fletcher in front of him, we'd be able to really pepper him down. But when he gets spotted, he's facing away, he's about to leave the cap, so I choose instead, I want to stay dark. You know, I'm going to get into the cap, I can pop my smoke, and I can just start working down this Montana. You know, get some points, and right as I do pop the smoke, a Benson momentarily sails into detection. So I've now got to just keep in mind that there could be torpedoes coming my way. And all I'm going to do to help myself dodge that, I'm just going to make sure I'm either going forwards or backwards at all time. That way when torpedoes, if torpedoes get spotted, and I'm going forwards, I just use that speed to dodge or help me dodge. Same with going in reverse. And you can see these guns, just like the Fletchers, pretty lofty arcs, but they can put the damage on quick because they have a very fast reload. I'm already up to about 8 grand, taking the cap, still wondering where those torpedoes are. There they are, and I was already shifting to forward, so it's pretty easy to fit in that gap. Meanwhile, I've got a Montana fire one at him, the other kind of predicting where he might turn to. I'm not expecting him to go completely broadside here, simply because of how much our team is there. So when he does go completely broadside, I'm not going to get him with all of that second volley, but I'll get him with some, hopefully. That's all I'm hoping for. Just start getting damage on the board. So far it's been all guns. I'm like 60 shell hits in, and just shy of 14k, finally get a fire, and well, that's gets put out right before a couple of my torpedoes hit. 38,000 damage from 3 torps. That pretty much ends the Monty. And you can see, my smoke just dissipated, 8 seconds and I've got another. So I'm just going to reposition here slightly, get myself somewhere I consider more favorable, pop that next smoke, and I'll just go back to working this Montana. Now I am aware that there's 3 destroyers over to my left on the western edge of the map. There's a New Orleans over there, there's a Kurfürst, there's a Richelieu. Between their guns, the radar hydro, they should be able to defend themselves somewhat effectively, and it is my fire that ends up getting the Monty, so there is officially my first kill in the Chung, and I'm up to 61,000 damage already, and this game is still young. So obviously, still having the smoke, I'm just going to chill in it, start trying to hit this Amagi. You can see me looking around, just trying to figure out what's going on behind me, and what's going on all over the map. And it's kind of here I decide, okay, when my smoke runs up, I'm going to try and shoot the gap and get up near the Amagi. If I can get close to him, he's pretty isolated. I should be able to get some torps on him. And my other goal is to maybe get in behind some of their ships here and just uncontested shoot them in the back with torpedoes. At least that's the hope. And you can see as my smoke starts to run out, I start to move forward, then I see, okay, friendly BB. I'll let him go past, he's got momentum. Now it's time to get on the gas. And I do just that, and that's when an enemy Shima gets spotted here, and for the life of me, I can't figure out why our Shimakaze is not firing his guns. Well, I know why. And he does eventually fire them. That was a very long period of time this enemy Shima was detected, and he's gonna get away on very low health. And it's just one of those things, like had our Shima, the second he was detected, started firing, I really think he could have taken him down. Who knows, maybe the turrets were facing the wrong way, and that was the reason. But the enemy Shima does get away, so that kind of becomes one of my priorities. Now as I proceed north, I'm now thinking about a couple things. I've got Namagi up here. He was kind of the target I decided I wanted to go for, and you can see me pointing that way. But I'm getting pinched. There's a Fletcher on one side. He's not super close yet, but he's getting there. And then there's this Bismarck, and the Bismarck really concerns me. Now, I'm kind of hoping that he decides to turn and go north. So I throw my torpedoes in that manner, and I kind of decide, you know what? I just need to make as much space for me and this Bismarck as possible. He's got a hydro. It's not as strong as the Qckslvrslash, but it's still strong. So I make a bit of a window, but I am getting close to the Fletcher, so it's time to stop, and I decide Amagi is going to be my first target. Wasn't sure entirely what the Bismarck was doing. You can see I'm watching. I'm still hoping the Shimakaze's torps were better than mine, but they end up passing by. And that pretty much means, in my head, he's got his hydro up. So the entire time I'm sitting in the smoke, I'm just waiting for that hydro marker to appear. And I'm trying to buy time. 30 seconds and I have another rack of torpedoes. That will just absolutely end him at this range. You can see me just looking, checking. Is he looking my way? Is he preempting that I'm going to be here? And you'll notice he just shot at our Monarch. So he's clearly not thinking super actively about, I'm going to get the DD in this smoke. And at 3 kilometers, he definitely doesn't have his hydro up yet. Until right there. But fortunately, I have my torps in another second or two. And I lead one right at him, and I leave it there. This close in, it's actually going to be hard for him to hit me. I get the rudder over, does hit me with a couple shells, but I get away with most of my health. And you can see his turn in is way too late. The one rack more than enough. Now I had saved the second rack for that situation where he completely dodges the entire first one. Okay, I've got the second one, we're even closer, now I can't miss. You'll see a lot of destroyers throw all their torpedoes right away, particularly when they're in close. And me on full health, 20,000 hit points, the odds of him one-hitting me, I'd say, are pretty low. So with one more ship down, 116,000 damage on the board, I decide it's time for me to go try and contest B, figure out where this Shimakaze last was, help this minnow with the Bismarck, and this minnow's actually in a pretty decent position. He's about to get in the cap, he has his smoke, and I tell him in chat, you know what, I'll keep the Bismarck spotted. I'm not going to smoke and shoot. I'm going to keep him lit for you. And the minnow is detected here. So he finally pops his smoke. I think a little bit late, and I'm not sure if he sails out of it or not here. That's the one thing, can't entirely know. It definitely looks like he does. So he throws all his torpedoes. He kind of botched that approach. And well, that means the Bismarck's going to get away, and you can see the Minotaur not even shooting. I think hoping he can just go dark, and that's just not going to happen. So for a moment I ponder, do I shoot the Bismarck with my torps? He is turning away, he's kind of coming my way, but I can outrun him. I've got my speed boost on. And there is kind of a super juicy AFK Alsace up to the north. And my thinking right now, okay, the minnow, he's still alive. Somehow the Bismarck hasn't managed to kill him yet. He's gonna get the Shima, or I hope he does. He ends up going for the Bismarck. So, with one set in the water, I'm still contemplating, and I go, no, I'm going to make sure this LSAS is dead. Because what would really screw me now is if he came to life. I'm going to set up to engage this Muagi, shoot the Bismarck some, and as I shoot, I don't instantly notice it, but the Fletcher fires, and he's right in front of me. So I eat a bit of damage there. But I'm dark, I'm in my smoke, I'm safe. I do definitely have to be thinking about torpedoes, but for the time being, nothing can hurt me. And, well, there's my torps. 2 of them hit, a couple more seconds, I should have a couple more, and with those floods, assuming the LSAS doesn't suddenly load into game, or isn't just a really crappy bot that insta-presses damage control or something, he should sink. So now my focus needs to be on this Fletcher. And just kind of looking for his shots. There, I see them. I put out a shell. And there is a split second here where I back out of the smoke. And I had my engines going forward. It's lucky I hadn't yet repaired my engines, because had I started accelerating right away when I pressed that button, I probably would have been dead. The funny thing here, though, is when I land that shell hit, or what I thought was a shell hit at the time, and I see that kill, I thought I just got the Fletcher, and then I'm like, wait a minute, no, that was the LSAS. Okay, he sank. Time to get this Fletcher. Don't know how much health he's on. I've got just under 6k. I'm a strong ship. I've got 2 allies right here with me. Pretty confident I can make this push. I can get in here and get rid of him. So I'm sailing to the north. The reason being, got a Richelieu to the south, so I'm closing off that other avenue of escape, and you can see me just aiming right for that northern edge. I'm just keeping my marker right along that 2-kilometer hard detect spot, because when and if he appears, it's gonna be somewhere in that range. He appears a little ahead, maneuver over, 1 volley, get the second one off, probably would have had him, but the Richelieu finishes the job. Another ship down, and that pretty much is the game. Just an enemy Chung left. This one, well, she's going to be over. The Shimakaze really can't afford to push. It's got no hit points. We're going to have the cap, so let's jump to the post-battle. And for a first game, what can I say? It just feels like home. Now, I do have all the upgrades. When I got to the ship, I spent free XP to fully upgrade the ship so that I've only got the final grind to get out of her. So I'm not playing this stock. But having played so long on the Fletcher, this really just plays the same. And sure, you can knock 60k off my total damage, 129, 2 kills if you want, because a chunk of that was the AFK LSAS. But if I wasn't engaging her, I probably would have done damage to that Bismarck. So all said, I'm happy with the end result, 189k, 3 kills, 10 torps, and just a crap ton of shell hits. And that's what you have to do in these kind of gunboaty destroyers. And I feel these Pan-Asian DDs fill a lot of different roles, because every one of their ships is just another ship in a sense. Like, they're all inherited ships. They kind of change their characteristics tier to tier, how they behave. There's a bit of a general theme, but the exacts change a bit. You know, early on, a lot of them were, you know, more like the Soviet destroyers. They had slower turrets, but now late on, they kind of shift to being a lot more American. And yeah, there you look at it. 68k from the LSAS. So AFK, I'll take it. Free damage, who doesn't enjoy that? End of the day, walked home with just over 250,000 credits and 14,000 experience. Only like 225k to go until the Yu Yang. I hope everyone enjoyed this. I certainly did. For a first game, it's always great to just have that fun game. It sets the tone for the entire way through the ship. If you enjoyed it, please consider giving a thumbs up or subscribing to the channel. And as always, I'm Qckslvrslash, and I'll have another one for you all later.